Hey everybody, welcome back to the Four Long Haul Podcast. We're in the pre-show. That's what we should call it, really. Skip to 5:30, 5 minutes 30 seconds to get
Oh,
to the main portion.
before the long haul.
Oh, this is before the Long Haul Podcast. Skip to 5:30. I really like that. That's really. I'm writing that down right now. We need to. I'm
But
not. That's great,
okay,
dude.
well, you already got a timer, Blaine. So have you heard what happened recently in the news?
No, I don't watch the news a lot. So
Okay,
what's
so
going on?
apparently almost about more than 7,600 nurses were given fake diploma nurses, and and apparently somewhere in Florida, an alleged wire fraud scandal. So about over 7,000 nurses that are working right now do not actually have a nursing degree. It is actually a fake degree they have gotten. So this could mess up our healthcare more than it is in
Wait,
various different locations.
do they know, like, they did that on purpose, or they had no idea?
And I have the news article pulled up, but it's like it's just like recently breaking out.
Hmm.
Let's see. They think it could be about like 7,000 or like over 7,000. So the schools
Wow.
involved are Serena College, Palm Beach School of Nursing, and Sacred Heart International Institution.
Okay,
The
I don't
Justice
really know any of
Department,
those.
the Justice Department, and so, it's a big deal, has charged more than 2 dozen people for their alleged involvement, saying they engaged in a scheme to sell fraudulent nursing degree diplomas and transcripts obtained from accredited Florida-based nursing schools. Each of those two
Oh.
defendants are now facing up to 20 years in prison. So it sounds like the
Wow.
people that got them may not have actually known. Maybe some of them did, but let's see.
I
It's think
think it sounds like they knew they were doing that.
so. I haven't read that much into it. I've read a little bit into it, but not that much. Some of the states that these people that got the fake degrees are working at now. They include Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Georgia, Maryland, and Texas. Apparently, the scheme has been happening from 2016 to 2021. So over 5 years, this has been happening. So
Wow.
at least about 1,000 degrees a year has been giving out.
Wow,
Those who
man.
got those, I'm reading some of this from the BBC News. Oh, not BBC, CBS News. They're
Uh-oh,
saying
okay.
those who got the fake diplomas were able to take the National Nursing Board exam and then obtain licenses and jobs in various trades as RNs, uh, LPNs, which is licensed practitioner nurse, and VNs, says the Department of Justice. So
Huh.
this got broken, I think, late last week and all that.
Wow. I'll
So
tell Victoria about that. She'll find that to be interesting because she
like
works in the medical field.
yeah, so a lot of people could be screwed over if they did know about it or not. That's a definition. If they knew about it, they're more screwed. But anyway, this is gonna
Mhm.
affect all the places that those people went to go work at, and probably mess up the system they're in right now more than it already is. But that's just
More
crazy
than
to
it's
think of how
already
much.
is. What do you mean mess it up more than it already is?
Well, like let's face it, the healthcare system in the U.S. is not the best. So, like, if they're at a hospital or area that is overworked and understaffed, and then they have to let go of these people, that's just
Uh-huh.
gonna make it more crazy and more difficult for
Okay.
everybody else.
Okay, I'll take that. I was confused, like, messed up system. Like, please elaborate what that really means.
Yeah,
Okay,
but like
cool.
even like just like if you're in an area that's like already, because like we've seen like nursing, like healthcare shortage and all that. So having
Mhm.
this happen, that's just gonna increase that shortage even more, and just like impact those places even more, especially if they're already understaffed and all that
Mhm.
stuff. Boom.
Yeah, I get that. That's definitely gonna create some kind of bind there for sure. Well, pretty much
Yep.
that's it for that. Those we don't have any more time to elaborate a point. And like clockwork, Hey everybody, welcome back to the For the Long Haul podcast. Hope you enjoyed the Before the Long Haul pre-show. We're gonna start using that. I wrote it down. I'm gonna remember, and
You have a
so
little cheeky smile on you when I
I
now that
like
you
it,
say that.
man. It's sweet. Before the long haul. Now
Oh
we're
god,
for the long haul, and so welcome back everybody. Today we are gonna it's Blaine sitting alongside.
Brandon.
And so we've kind of messed this intro up a little bit. I typically wash in the same way every time, but today we're going to talk about just kind of, year in review 2022 in terms of like events and things just to look back and recognize and things of that nature.
Honestly, it was a crazy year. I think probably for me the two of the biggest things I can think of that happened that year was the crash of NFTs, which are now basically vast majority of them are basically worthless, and a lot of people that invest in their entire life savings are unfortunately bankrupt. Now,
Uh-huh.
I don't want I I'm happy this happened, but I'm also feel bad for the people that invested everything in this. But at the same time, I'm also not because
Mhm.
I was very vocal about my disapproval, my hatred for NFTs and all that, mostly because they all look the same and none of them honestly were really that creative and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
ones
I'm
that
like,
were you've mentioned the name of those ones before.
it's the
That
bored
were
apes.
Yeah, and
Those are
those
the one I hated the way. Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with them as much as I do if it was actually genuine good artwork and all that, and not
mhm.
just stupid bored apes or like just reskinned bored apes. And everybody think, oh, this is
Uh
the next best thing and all that, blah blah blah. I remember I saw somebody compare it to QR codes, and I'm like, are you actually comparing it to QR codes? Because yeah, when QR codes first made a big public debut, everybody was like, oh, we're gonna be using these for the next thing. These are gonna revolutionize everything. Look back 20 years later, because I remember that was like around whenever we were in middle school.
Mhm.
Now, fast forward to now, they honestly quickly died down and just had a little resurgence during the pandemic. But they're not as
Yeah.
what everybody expected them to be and all that. Yeah, honestly, I think the only thing we really use them for now is for tickets online.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we
everybody was like,
definitely
"Oh,
I
you
I
is
see
it?"
them, but it's not, like,
They're not
game
as big as
changing for
everybody
everything.
thought they were. Yeah, they're not as big as everybody was making them out to be. It's like, oh, this is gonna be the next best thing. You're gonna be able to scan a QR code, do this. No, not really. They're not that big of a deal. And everybody's making NFTs to be this next big deal now.
Mhm.
Now, could
Yeah.
it bounce back? 100%. Do
Mighty.
I see them bouncing up? A little bit, but no, they're not gonna be as what they once were.
I don't know. I can't make any prediction on that kinda stuff. I could see it at some point. Certain ones be worth something extra more, like a baseball card, but like all baseball cards, majority of them not really. And, so, only time's gonna tell on that.
The only thing I've really seen NFTs do that can honestly probably kind of make them last a long time is the company Funko. They release NFT Funkos, which you buy the packs, then you open the digital pack, and it shows you the Funko you pulled, and then you can use that to actually get a real life version of that Funko Pop. And sometimes those are valued at $200, $40, and all that, depending on which one you buy, which one you end up pulling. And there's a
So
set
how does
amount of each.
set 'em out of
Just
each.
basically think about it as opening a digital baseball pack, and then once you get your digital baseball cards, you can you the company will make them physically for you and send them to you.
Oh, that's really cool.
And those X amounts of each stuff that's going to be digitally created for people to pull. And
Well,
once
that's
it's
really
gone,
cool.
it seems like it's gone. So that's what Funko has been doing, like those NFT Funkos. And some of them have been ranging from like $40, $10 to like $200,
And how much are they for a
depending on
digital
the rare.
pack?
That I'm not sure because I've never seen that. I'm not gonna try to get into those because I'm like, nah, not for me.
Because they have to
But
make
plus, I know
money.
it's like, plus I know once those go live, they sell
Oh,
out
it's not
fast.
out yet?
No. They do
Ooh,
waves.
okay.
So like but once they do a wave, it's usually gone really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I think that I hadn't even heard about that. I think that's a really genius idea to incorporate NFTs and in their own way and also cut out like a middleman. So like you don't have to pay a store like a percentage. They're not making the store's not making money from them. They're able
Yeah,
to sell this like a novelty item, have a longevity collector's this to it as well, and not have a middle person in the middle person in the middle. How about that? A middleman to take any percentage of that. So they literally can sell these digital ones, and they cannot even have them made yet. They can sell all of them, and then after the wave's done, they know they're gonna sell out. Then they in the beginning of next month they can start making all of them or something, and then send them out or whatever.
yeah.
I think it's freaking
But
that's
that's
really
the only way
smart.
I've seen NFTs really been incorporated to a way. Like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good and all that. And then sometimes companies are just like boarding on the NFT hype train and all that. Like I think Activision did a little bit, Ubisoft did a little bit,
Mhm.
and I'm like, eh, you guys aren't doing it. You guys are just getting on the hype train, trying to make that quick buck.
Probably. I don't know anything about any of or them doing any of that stuff, so I guess I'm not in a lot of that news for those. So
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add to it really. I just know a little bit about NFTs. I know like Gary Vee was doing some NFTs and things like that. I don't know.
Also,
He wasn't
have
trying
you
to rob
realized?
anybody, but
Have you realized that people that were hyping up NFTs and all that really haven't been talking about them at all?
well, yeah, you talk real loud when everything's going great, and the people don't talk as loud when it's not going good. So
Yeah.
they'd be expected.
But and then we also have the great cryptocurrency crash of 2022.
Yeah, Bitcoin went down so much, and I again,
It did so
I used to
much.
follow those kind of harder, and then but I stopped following them as hard because I was like, I need to put money just long term vehicles. It's easier to just not have to worry about it, and so I quit looking at them
And
all the time. Market update: market's doing really good today. I say really good as in it's green. We've been going down for a year, so the start of the year has so far been good, and that's great. At least for especially for tech, I'm sure general overall market. Let's take a peek at that. Um, since the well, that's not since the start of the year. We've been going up. We dipped for the end of the year, so we can start the new year going up since. And so on average, we've been on our way up. Hopefully, we'll come.
well,
Make some nice
actually,
progress this year.
if I remember correctly, the S&P 500 has been hitting new highs, hasn't it?
Oh
Oh, the
no,
Nasdaq.
Nasdaq. Also, there's no way that's true.
No, yeah, yeah. Like if you go back 5 years ago, wait, hold on. Well, like 2021, it hit a high, but like it's hit its high at 2021. 2021, 2022 hit its highest, and then went down a little bit, but it didn't dip as much as you would think.
I was trying to
Like,
think. Where's it?
yeah,
I can
it
see
dipped, but
Nasdaq
like
now. Yeah, but it hasn't hit new highs. I mean, look at that. Look at the dip right there.
yeah,
Uh, I guess new
yeah, but
high.
like that's also whenever
Oh,
it
never
went
mind.
down though, that's
Hmm.
also around the time of probably that was probably the around when it probably dipped. It was probably on the time of I, probably kind of like the dip of post COVID and everybody kind of like going back out and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and then like kind of like the whole like waves of layoffs that happen and all that.
Yeah. Hopefully we.
Uh,
So Nasdaq, it got really close. Well, that's firms listed on Nasdaq. Well, we got to a dead spot here. We got too distracted looking at markets.
yeah,
But either way, for the start of the new year, we're seeing progress and momentum, and that's good.
yeah, but
So moving on.
unfortunately, last year though we also did see what a lot of people were calling is the great tech layoffs that have been that began at the end of last year, 2022, and are beginning into this year and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading some articles about that. Like I since I don't watch the news, I kind of miss some of that stuff, and
Yeah,
I probably
I
should get
I
a little
I,
bit more of a news influx. But
I get most of my news either from Reddit or from some of the news websites I follow, or I have apps for and all that,
Uh,
and on
yeah.
Twitter. But whenever I get my news from Twitter, I don't just listen to randoms. I listen to people that like either the news websites or people that are actually really knowledgeable in that field. I'm not gonna listen to somebody that's name is Monkey King 420 Blaze It. I'm not gonna listen to that
Uh-huh.
guy. Or
Okay.
somebody that just has a random blue check mark but has a stupid name.
You
I'm not gonna
can
listen to that
buy
either.
those now.
Yeah,
What? Yes, however many you'd like to make me. I will eat whatever is left. Sorry.
which is kind of eh, it's a for the most part it defeats the whole purpose of the blue check mark. In all honesty,
Well, before it was to be verified or something, right? Like, I didn't even know what it really
yeah.
meant before. I never looked,
Well,
but like famous
it
people
meant you
had it.
got verified. It meant that you're like hey you're that actually that person that's like you actually are Henry Cavill, or hey you're a business, or hey you're a really credible person because you got X amount of this. But now it's
Mhm.
like oh Blazing Monkey King, lol, uh or whatever,
Uh-huh.
verified because you paid $8. It kind of
Yeah.
devalues it. Like it's like oh you didn't own it, you just paid money for it.
Yeah. I mean, it
Now,
definitely
granted,
devalues it if you can just get it now. No, anybody can get it. $8, 12-year-old can get it.
yeah. Before there are rumors and like that some people that some people pay like thousands and thousands of dollars somebody they knew in Twitter to get verified, but that's like a bunch of money compared to like oh hey here's $8.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't
And that's I'm like
I feel like we went off somewhere and I'm lost where I'm at.
yeah that's that
Let's hit
kind.
let's hit the next one.
I you go
Like we
because
went
I
off on
kind of
a
hit both
tangent.
points.
We went off on that, and I kind of fell off. I've got a couple things that I've got that I thought about. Like, I recently actually I work with a someone from Ukraine that's moved here recently.
Yeah,
Um, I don't, kind of like he's like you could say like a refugee, but he's been meaning to come here for a while, and he was actually able to get here, and it just so happened after the war started and everything and
yeah,
luckily he didn't have to serve in the war. But he said he had brothers that's in the war right now that weren't able to leave yet. But speaking of war, like the war in Ukraine and Russia invading Ukraine, that is one of the things that I've heard plenty of stuff about, and it's just like what's
mm-hmm.
going on. And so, not sharing any particular opinions at the moment. Besides it happened in 22 in terms of the special operations and like
Yeah,
official hitting the news everywhere. And Russia's like, it's just a special operation. Just no need to worry. And all that stuff going on. And so, besides the fact, obviously, that's significant, but raising tensions around and making sensitive subject almost for countries to think about helping or
yeah,
not and all that kind of stuff. That's a huge thing, especially impacting the world, impacting people, killing people, impacting
yeah.
markets, all that kind of stuff. So that's a big point.
And also that kind of also leads into the whole energy crisis that's happening over there in Europe right now and all that
Hmm.
because of like how a lot of them got the oil from Russia and all that. Now that's kind of like developing an energy crisis last winter and this winter and all that, and a lot of the European countries.
Wow, like European countries that are not like lower level ones. I don't know what levels or
Like
what in
like
the
like
European
like UK,
area.
Germany are like big ones too.
Okay, so
Affecting
and
all
those
of
places
Europe.
are worried about being able to have. Are they
Be-
having outages?
Uh, well, like it's like they're worried more about like being able to heat up their homes and all that this winter and last winter.
Oh, okay.
So
So
like they
people are
may
going to
not
be
be
able to
able to
get
like
it, but some people maybe not be able to buy it. You know.
because like energy prices are going up just like they are over here, but like over there it's more impactful over there. Like
Hmm.
like energy costs went up a bunch. So, they're like okay, can are we gonna be able to afford to heat our houses this winter and all that blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they can because that's nuts.
Yeah.
You hear people that are just like, the United States is the most wonderful country in the world, best, most number one country in the world, or whatever, and you hear about all this stuff going on everywhere else, and we have our own share of problems. But when you hear all this other stuff, you're just like, man, it's not that bad over here. Now, I never say it's bad over here. I mean, we have our problems, but um, I definitely think about those people who are just like, America sucks, this, that, and the other. It's like, oh, well, go live in another country. I mean, look what's going on all over the place at big name brand places, like all the places in the UK and Germany and all that different type of stuff. Like, it's insane to me.
Yeah. All right. So
So,
what's your next point? You
so
can
I,
sound.
what?
Go
Okay.
on.
So other than that, hit that invasion. Another thing that it hits everybody here in the United States is kind of what I'm thinking about, but I think it's more than just here, but is the inflation that we've had just happening and keep going and going and going. And so we're back to, I don't know when it really starting, but
Uh.
like, what?
Oh. No, Mike. Continue. I thought you were gonna give a number.
Oh, I don't have a number or anything. I'm just talking about like inflation just being a part and making people that more tight with their money, like gas prices. Gas prices are a decent spot now, just because we've seen what $4 is. But even then, gas prices were nice and low a little bit ago, but they've come back up because of fuel and things like that. All the rising costs on simple things like meat and produce and all that kind of stuff.
And
Uh,
don't forget that one of the reasons we saw an increase in prices and all that was because of the fuel shortage and all that. And now I don't know if you've seen people talk about it about like a shortage of like the increase of eggs, the increase of chicken, because apparently there was a massive
Today
chicken
was that
chicken
was
pox,
that
I think it was.
no, there was maybe that, but also not to mention
Blood flu,
all this
blood flu,
chicken stuff.
blood flu.
There was literally a fire today or yesterday or something. I read an article. 100,000 chickens died in a fire of at a chicken coop, and yeah, so we just lost a bunch more chickens. Not
And
to
there's
mention,
also bird flu going around chickens and all that right now. So that's also causing a shortage of all that stuff too.
uh,
So
so it's just and chicken is great because it's like the cheap meat you can buy, chicken and
yeah.
eggs and stuff. So that's nuts because those are the cheap staple foods you can get, and theirs are going up in prices. Like it's and milk. I don't know. I don't know how much milk prices change, but like $5, almost $5 a gallon is like, ah, used to get that for way cheaper than that when I was a kid, and I ain't even that old. So
Yeah. So
inflation,
it
we're
was,
feeling it definitely.
and also unfortunately, no, this isn't to what you were talking about inflation. Inflation is going down because I think around November or October it was at like around 9 something, but right now it's at I think at the beginning of January or mid January they reported it's about 6.7, so like about a 3% drop. It's not as
That's
much as they
good.
wanted, but it is going down. It's just gonna be slowly. It's just gonna take a while. Unfortunately, it's not gonna happen
Hmm.
overnight.
Yeah.
And then but that doesn't help if other things are going to crap, and then we're just getting screwed over because of those other things like bird flu, mash, like burning of a bunch of chickens, increased fuel costs. That's not gonna help us if even if inflation goes down. But those things are scarce. That's not gonna help us out.
Yeah. So they'll take our money in other spots. So
And then I don't know. It's either Congress or the House of Representatives were talking this year, or like late last year, early this year, about imposing 30% tax on sales or something like that. And
oh,
I'm like, no.
uh, oh, I won't eat them now. That's okay. Here, thank you. You're welcome. You didn't have to make it for me now. I've been delivered some pot stickers.
Wait, some
Thank you,
popsicles?
babe. Yeah, you get it from like HEB in a box, and they're pretty good. Especially the fact that you
No,
can make
because
them in the microwave.
I thought you
Good.
said I don't know why you said pot stickers. I was thinking of hot pockets for some reason.
Oh no, I hadn't had hot pockets in a while. I love them, but they're kind of expensive. Honestly,
Yeah,
they're good, but I'm sure they're not good for you. That's for sure.
yeah,
All right,
but
let's put those inside.
Yeah, but like I think like one of them was like wanting to introduce a 30% tax on sales or something or goods and all that. And I'm like, wait, so you want to fight inflation by imposing a tax that's going to make shit even more expensive for the regular people? How does
It
2 plus 2 equal 4? How does 2 plus 2 equal 4? Tell me this, please.
How does 2 plus 2 equal 4? Yeah.
Well, like, how does that? How does giving us a more tax that's supposed to help fight inflation help us when it's just gonna screw us over and make shit more expensive than it already is?
Are they gonna put that is that a tariff on imported goods?
I don't know that much about it, but it'll be a nationwide thing.
Well, it sounds
Now
terrible
again,
to me. I don't like it.
there was
30%?
talks about it. There's the talks about it. I don't know if it's like gone to the house or whatever it is. I can't remember
Mhm.
which branch it is. I think it's
Well,
I think it's I think
30%
it's
sounds too damn expensive on anything.
yeah, and
So, we can be okay without that.
I'm like, no, no, no. You're just pissing people off. You're just pissing people off if you want to do that.
Yeah, we
It's
can
like,
move on from that.
but anyway, that's been going on. Inflation going down slowly, but unfortunately not as much as people want. And it'll probably take a while before we actually see the
Yeah.
effects and all that. If companies even decide to lower the prices, because who knows?
I mean,
The
you don't have
all
to.
out,
Why would you? Your consumers are now
yeah,
used
because
to the
like
new price. They're not gonna
and
take it
they're and,
down.
and they're talking about, oh hey, we've been hitting for like past 2 or 3 years. They've been like saying, oh, we've been hitting record profits, record profits. Yeah, you guys have been increasing the prices a shit ton.
Mhm. Yeah. That's how it goes, and they're not gonna come back down. There may be some
No,
places that be like, "Hey, we're able to produce it," and but once your consumer gets used to a new higher price, unless you're doing some kind of marketing initiative, you're not gonna bring it back down. Like the big box companies aren't gonna do that because consumers are now used to paying extra for it. Oh, it's inflation.
yeah,
Even if their costs go down, on average, they're gonna leave it where it is. I mean, that's what I would do
yeah,
if I had the business, because I've already got my consumers used to the new price. So now, instead of having to lower it to double the raise next time, I've already halfway there, and then another little raise. It's not gonna feel as bad.
yep. Anything else on your list? Because I already went over the top two things on my list.
Well, I mean, other than that, I think it's almost like COVID has disappeared. COVID eases, and pretty much that's like I
There
don't even
was
ever think about it. There's every now and again you hear some stuff about it, but man,
I
like
know
to me, it's
I know
gone.
one of our friends. I know one of our friends. I mean, it's not gotten still around, but like it's more like you've either been vaccinated or you're like I know people have to where it's kind of like you're good and all that. Like it's still around
It's
because
gone in
I
terms
one of
of I leave the house and I come home and I haven't thought about it at all the whole day. I don't think it doesn't come in on a day-to-day basis. There's not certain restrictions we've set in place to separate people or anything. So, I mean, to me, we've hit the next big talking point. We've moved past COVID, even though it still impacts people. That's kind of
yeah,
my thing about it.
like I think another one of our buddies got it for the fourth time in a row, and I'm honestly wondering how
The
bad it's
fourth
been for him because
time.
when I had it,
Do you have it right now?
I think I don't know if he I don't think he has it right now, but I think he had it like a month ago.
That man needs to
Again,
wash his hands or something. How do you have it 4 times?
is it he's
I
really
can't.
lucky? Like, or just is it goes to really dense populated locations, like
It licks
eh,
people.
like if you go to a really like a super super packed and crowded place, maybe wear a mask because you don't know who's sick and all that, and like yeah, oh you just don't want to get sick when you get back and all that. Because I remember I went to a convention, there was a bunch of people. I came back, I was sick for 2 to 3 days when I got back because I'm
Well,
pretty sure I
maybe you
caught something
didn't
when I
have
was over
COVID.
though.
Who knows?
I don't know what it was.
Wear
I just
wear
felt
your
like crap
mask
for
or
like two or
not.
three days.
Make your as long as you have the freedom, the choice to choose that item for yourself, I'm fine with it. Just don't try to make me do anything.
And
No matter what it is.
anyway,
I
I
don't care
think he's
about
been
any subject.
I think he's been sick about 4 times. I wonder if any of them have been really bad for him or it's just been like mild. Because for me, I feel like I got hit like a goddamn truck.
I don't know. There's a couple times it was real mild. Maybe one of those was
Yeah,
bad, but far as I know, I've
I
only
know.
gotten it the one time. I've been hanging out. So
I know.
whether I
I feel
got
like.
for that. I mean, you said you got
Yeah,
pretty roughed up. I didn't have a bad time. Victoria had a much worse time than I did, though. I was good in a couple days. But
I
I
feel
was
like I
mentally
got hit by
exhausted
a
for like a
truck.
week.
I remember I was basically passed out for like a day and a half one time.
I remember you were bad. You were like,
Mhm,
oh, you were gone. But you made it. You're good.
mhm.
Nothing to think about.
Yep, and thankfully I'm young enough to walk. I probably won't be affected. I know my grandma recently. I mean, she didn't recently get it, but she had it at some point, and I know she said her lungs still hurt every now and then,
Uh huh.
and
That's
like every
rough.
now and then she's just like has to sit down for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not looking. Ideally, no long term side effects for us young people. That would be nice. I
Hmm.
mean, it's too late now. So we got to ride the train regardless. But ideally,
Yep.
we'll be all right. So far, doing just
Anything
fine.
else? Anything else, Blaine?
That's it. Just got a
All
couple
right.
points. We had a good little bit. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks again for joining us. We're right now chatting each other live on YouTube. And so if you guys want to check us out on YouTube, go give us a peek. I've kind of cut in place. I normally don't do the YouTube part first, but we did that first. Now we move on. So thanks you guys for being here. If you guys want to go check us out on Instagram, check us out at For the Long Haul Podcast, and see on there. Give us comments if you want to say anything in particular. However, you'd like to communicate with us, it's fine by us. Also, if you'd like to send us an email for sponsorship information or anything of that nature, send us an email at ftlhpodcast@gmail.com, just like For the Long Haul. ftlhpodcast@gmail.com. Already mentioned YouTube. Come check us out. Put us on in the background. Do what you do. Thanks everybody for being here with us. We'll catch you on the next go round. And enjoy yourself a pot sticker when you can.
Uh, all right. And there we
You're
go.
gonna say bye? Never mind. He's not saying bye.
Later.
Nope,
Later.
it's too late.